So, you know what? Toni Calderone, not Ann or...
It's Marie Antonia, but...
Oh, I like that
Yeah.
better. Let's do it that
Thank you.
one.
That's going to be the name
No.
of my steakhouse.
Ooh.
I like steak.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I
If
know.
you get a
Slow down.
steakhouse, it does not need to have chicken parm.
It won't, Bill. Don't worry.
Yeah. So
If you get another, can you just go on Guy Fieri's little like diners, drives, and dives, please?
I dealt cards to him up at Hollywood Casino when he was filming for one of the diners.
let's not
around
talk
here.
about that yet. Ready?
Sorry.
I met him once in North Carolina.
We're gonna do the 1, 2, 3.
Total douchebag.
Total douchebag. I was going to say that.
Stop!
Oh my God.
This
I was
is
going to say
too
that.
good.
Sorry.
Stop!
Tip
Shut
of my
up!
tongue. Tip of my tongue.
Stop.
I was going to say that.
All right, ready? On count of three, everyone.
On the count of 3, everyone got to clap.
1, 2, 3.
I started from nothing, never knew where my next meal was coming. But I transformed my life, I stay one step ahead. Mindset of disruption, I own the edge. This is the Drill Cast, where I bring the wisdom you need. Everyone is selling knowledge, I give mine away for free. I'm as real as it gets, you either love or hate me. Best believe I'm major league. Bill Hines, that's me. This is the Thrill Cast. This is the Thrill Cast. This is the Thrill Cast.
Hey, so for this episode of the Thrillcast, Meg, we have Toni Calderone.
Hi,
and she
Toni.
is the founder, owner, president, CEO. She does everything for ONE Hospitality
Dishwasher.
Group. Everything. So, she's definitely a very well-respected person in the hospitality industry in York County and, whatever. I think, soon to be up and coming in the United States. And I really want to bring someone on in the hospitality and, restaurant business
Yeah,
to
it's
really
a tough time to be in that
to
industry,
really
right?
talk to them
Girl.
about how they are dealing in this times of COVID. Because, early on with COVID, I remember sending her a text message. One restaurant when they said we're closing. I was like, wow, isn't that premature? And she's like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know what they're going on. So that's why I wanted to bring her on to really talk about how, she's dealing with it and what she thinks other companies should be doing out there. Because for one thing, like she hasn't stopped. She has been, whereas other people have been laying people off and, closing down. And she's just trying to reinvent the industry with the current climate. And it was, to me, admirable and respectful that she's not giving up on one herself or the industry, and really, she's all about feeding the people. So,
Well, thanks. You
Yeah.
talk about me like I'm not here.
I know.
yeah,
Thank you for
that's
that
that's
intro.
my introduction.
Yeah, that's quite the intro.
So how are you doing?
So, mentally, I'm in my bag right now. I love reinventing.
Yeah,
The mundane, everyday life of the restaurant business doesn't exist anyway.
yeah,
So, right now, having to adapt and pivot and figure it the F out is where I
you can curse on here. We don't
figure it
beep.
the fuck out.
There's no beeps.
So you're thriving in the chaos after all.
100%.
Wow, you go,
100%.
man.
So I mean, I go back into my story a little bit to justify why I'm saying that. So I'm a restaurateur. I have 6 concepts under my brand. I started with a fresh Italian joint called Two Toni's, and from there we realized that we had something with a noodle. We make our own scratch noodles, and nobody else was really doing it how we were doing it.
They're excellent, by the way.
Thank you very much. I saw, a 10-year plan with that noodle. So, pivoting is what I do anyway, naturally, and I created a lateral move in my company across the board. So people locally naturally think I'm crazy. I have a lot going on at all times. And it's
I
just,
feel your pain.
right? It's just something that I know my threshold. A lot of people don't know their own threshold. So how are you going to tell me what I can handle as a business person?
Are you from this town?
Originally, I
Okay.
am. I did not grow up around here, though. I grew up in Florida.
Okay.
So my
But this was a better
grandfather-
market for you?
No.
No.
I saw an opportunity here
Uh-huh.
because it was underdeveloped.
Okay.
I believe
As
that-
with you, yes?
We're very, yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, we kind of came on the block at the same time. He was eons ahead of me, but I felt the pulse starting in New York City when I came up here. And I wanted to become part of the creative process, and I knew that if you do anything down here, it's pretty cool, let alone the one of the kind concept. So it naturally just organically grew into a restaurant group. Now we have the Cantina, which is a taco joint that looks like Miami. We have Aviano's, which is a pizza joint that's wood-fired oven.
Named after her son.
My son.
Cutest kid ever.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Heartthrob. He'll be a heartthrob.
I know it. Girls come correct.
Yes.
So yeah, it's natural for me to be in a million different positions at once. My father was a professional blackjack player growing up.
Oh, wow.
So the hustle is in me, baby.
What was his nickname?
They called him Mr. G or El Don.
Ooh, El Don. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
I met him one time.
Yep.
And
The Don.
he came as advertised. It's like he's one of the few people I liked immediately, and I was like, man, that's my kind of guy. Like the rest is his soul. I mean, what an amazing man. Yeah, and he loved his daughter.
He did. He taught me
would-
everything I know.
He would kill for you. Yeah,
I don't know if he did or not. that lives and dies with him.
Exactly.
But yeah, I am a Sicilian girl, so you never
Exactly.
know. But he did raise me to take chances, to be confident in those risks, and to own it. So you would call me a female in a man's world right now.
Yeah.
My industry, I just saw a statistic. It's like 7% of the restaurants are owned by female chefs.
Oh, wow.
Only
Wow.
2% are restaurateurs. So I'm of the 2% across the board in everything I do. But thank you very much.
Can you cook too?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
Ha
I depend on the professionals for that. Yeah, Sicilian women should be in the kitchen, right?
Yes,
You
go
can-
clean
I didn't
something,
say
honey.
that. Yeah. It's like I can boil water.
No, I can't even do that, right? You're supposed to
Wow.
put salt in it. I
I
forget.
think so. Yeah. There's a way. There's a way.
It's not necessary.
Oh man, that's funny. So, yeah, I mean the pandemic, of course. So I'm in a growth spurt. Like I just bought.
So,
a
but what are
building.
you doing with really no experience cooking, or you don't know how to cook, and like, where do you get off actually starting restaurants?
Right? Because it's a business, and
Like, how dare you?
how
That
dare
you just do something that you.
I know, and I don't even have a degree. I don't have a piece of paper in it.
So isn't it more about like, hey, you had a great idea, and then you found the right people that you surrounded yourself with to take out that task and do that?
Well, you don't have to be
Job for you?
institutionalized to have talent.
Say it again for the people in the back.
There you
It's
go.
so true.
Thank you.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And yeah, when they get me to speak at colleges and stuff, I feel like a hypocrite. 'cause
You're like,
I-
quit school today, guys.
I'm like, what the
go
hell are
go
you
out
doing?
there and do it.
Well,
Stop
I-
wasting your money.
colleges they need to reinvent their curriculum, because right now they teach people to live in this box and to be an employee of someone.
Aren't they?
And I guess you need people like that. Like, I always have a joke with some people. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna do that?" I'm like, "No, they make someone for that."
They do.
What?
It
They
sounds a
build
little
'em.
classist.
They build them.
It's a joke, though. Again, I got to remind people for this podcast, it is under the comedy section. So some things are funny, not everything, But in this day and age with cancel culture,
Yeah.
you have to qualify everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Who
joke.
are you
not-
telling? I'm in the hospitality business.
Yeah.
If I do anything out of line, they're letting me know all over the place.
So obviously, even
So
with,
I know.
with
But you're
me,
your own boss, right?
No, I have
No.
thousands of bosses. My
every-
customers are my
her
boss.
Oh, okay,
son,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I am my own boss. I don't have anybody telling me what
Okay.
moves to make. But I do rely on my team a lot. So when you said build a team,
Yeah.
I don't have experience that one would think you need in order to own a restaurant.
Yeah.
I worked in the hospitality business my whole life. My grandfather was the originator of pizza shops in this city.
Nice.
So I learned through mom and pa what not to do, what
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do, and I learned through corporate America how to do it. So that was my college, School of the Hard Knocks. I went and learned how everybody else did it with my experience, and instead of paying for school, I paid for my failures.
So you got a PhD in life.
That's right. I learned from my failures. I learned what works and what doesn't work. And from that, I created Taste Test, which was a restaurant incubator.
Excellent.
And in this city, we put 28 concepts through in a year and a half.
Holy shit.
Right? And we
Yeah.
taught people what the hell not to do. And why would you ever sign up for this? Just because you can cook a taco at home doesn't mean that you should own a business.
Yeah.
If I was a cook, I would never open my own restaurant.
Well,
You
that's
get
why
burnt
it's a
out.
test. And like, I
Right?
guarantee you some people went through and said, yeah, this ain't cut out for me.
And 95% of it, just like the industry, failed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a good learning curve for me. And again, it was my school. So I learned through other people's failures on top of my own, my business, whatever I was making from two Tonys.
So what's
funded.
working, what's not working,
Yeah.
what's better as an efficiency or cost
Right,
standpoint.
Right.
And,
So I got a lot of research and development in 1.5 years that it would take me a lifetime to do.
you could probably apply for an R&D grant. I'm not kidding you.
Through
Or
what?
R&D tax credit. because that's all R&D.
I should because I have tax
Technically.
problems because of it.
Hey,
I put
research that seriously
I will.
on the business side. I think
Noted.
because that's all. Most people think R&D is just like, hey, I'm trying to make this widget and I have research and development on it. But research and development could also go for a process or an improvement of which also one of the criteria is taking multiple failures. So you just said, hey, I failed a lot of times, but it taught me how to do. Well, that's R&D. And depending on what you did with that, and you can get an R&D tax credit. So have your accountant look into that.
I will.
Bill's tidbit of the day.
Thanks, Bill. I
Yep.
use that a lot for all of my trips to Miami and stuff that we classify.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, that's funny.
And no, in my business,
Yeah.
it's true. I can
Yeah.
write them off because I'm in that industry. But anyways, I created a lot of opportunity. So when pandemic happened, I was literally in my stride. I was it's only 6 months ago, but for me, I
Yeah.
feel like it's been 5 years.
2020
true.
sucks.
Doesn't it? Oh my
Oh
God.
my
I feel like I'm so deep into this, but we didn't stop. I had the restaurants downtown, and then we had just opened up Presto Pastaria, which I talked about the noodle being the big idea behind everything that I have. So we were already starting a wholesale division for that noodle. I was retailing it.
Oh, wow.
I was setting up a big deal with Cisco. I was going to start selling wholesale, and then I lost my father, so that kind of stopped that train.
Yeah.
Terrible. Sorry.
Horrible. Thank you. And I realized that if I can make it through that, this pandemic ain't got shit.
Ain't got shit.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing
Bring
on
it,
you.
bitch. So, yeah.
So the noodle is the noodle that you have on the rigatoni and the
Yep,
truck and all
yep,
that. You know?
Yep. So the rigatoni, Bill, you're getting ahead of my story.
Oh, sorry.
Super fan.
Sorry. I'm not only a hair club member,
So, yeah, we were starting to wholesale and retail the noodle, and the rigatoni truck is our food truck, which is the best fucking name ever. I'll
it's
drop the
like
name.
it's like an ice cream truck, but for pasta.
And it's the rigatoni because I'm Toni,
do
and
you
it's
have
a
the-
ring, and it's the best.
Do you have the?
Can
do
I
you have
steal
a,
that?
Do you have a bell?
No.
It's copyrighted, trademark, patented.
Okay, borrow.
Yes.
Well-
Okay.
You could tell everybody about it.
I'll drive the truck around.
So yeah, we actually put the truck on the road the night of the pandemic. Okay, so
You should get one for New York City, and Meg can get
my
you
God.
real estate.
Park right in front of my
Listen.
house, dude.
I
I live in the hood, but we have money.
don't.
They do
tell
have money.
me. One more time, I'll be there.
Brooklyn.
I am that bitch.
Come, we're hungry. They won't even let us go to restaurants there yet.
No, let's
we need
go.
food trucks.
Let's go.
It's the best time to have food
You would,
trucks.
you would
go.
probably kill it in Brooklyn in her
I
neighborhood.
know.
Yeah.
For real. We don't have any Italian.
Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
I'm serious.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
not a
so
good
after this,
Italian.
I'm going to get your information.
Okay, cool.
I'm 100% dead ass.
I'm serious.
So this pasta truck, right? I'm watching okay, rewind. I have a lot of people that I know in this industry. So the Joe Bastianiches and the Michael Solomonovs of the biz. I'm
Very
messaging
well
them.
respected gentleman.
Yes,
Yeah.
huge in the game. Michael Solomonov's #1 restaurant, James Beard Award-winning Zahav in Philadelphia right now, and Joe Bastianich owns Italy up in New York City.
Yep. Love that place.
About 30 other restaurants that he had with Mario Batali, but that's his story, not mine.
Yeah.
So they're telling me like the climate of what the hospitality industry is about to do through this COVID thing that's happening. And we're watching, we're listening, but we're thinking it's never going to get to York, whatever. And like you said, a local restaurant pulled the trigger, good on them, was watching, was listening. And then we hear, okay, it's going to happen. So March 16th, we called a meeting at my mom's house, Sunday night. I think it was a Sunday night. And my whole team comes over and we're sitting at the table and I'm like, all right, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to have to shut it down and we're going to have to rotate and we're going to have to pivot and we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do that. So we came up with this master plan all over the wall. And it was the food truck that was going to save us. And I saw, everybody's going to be locked down. So they can't come to our restaurants anymore. I'm in the middle of developing a hotel. I'm in the middle of developing a quick service restaurant. I'm in the middle of a wholesale pasta line. And I have just developed that A-team that you were talking about that's essential to making your business grow. I ain't letting them go for shit. So I'm going to hustle and I'm going to figure out whatever it takes to keep them paid, to keep them happy, to keep everything afloat. And we'll shut the restaurants down and figure it out and go to our commissary. So that's what we did. And it all started because I was watching that new Netflix series that was out at the time called Made in America.
Breaking Bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Twilight Zone?
No. The chick who sold the hair cream and she became the first millionaire next to Rockefeller. The black
Oh,
chick.
with Madam...
Yeah, her.
Karate Kid.
The
No,
maid.
the first millionaire girl. And she happened to be a black
Ever?
lady.
Yep.
Madam.
Yep.
CJ Walker.
That's it.
I believe there's been millionaire women before
No,
her.
there
No.
wasn't. She's the first.
Ever?
She's the
Door to
first.
door
Yes.
sales. She was a badass bitch.
People
What
still
year is
use her
this?
hair products.
I
don't know. There was like slavery
know.
still then.
Yep.
Oh, back then, that
Back
part?
then, there's a Netflix original show. You
I
should
have
watch
to-
it.
I
I
have
haven't
It's
seen it,
amazing.
but I have heard about it. She's like pretty
Yep.
incredible.
So people, this was the biggest compliment I got, but people were telling me I needed to watch the series. If you remind me of her, Tony, you got to watch the series.
I'm so jealous. What a compliment.
I know.
That's
very
not the
flattering.
biggest compliment you got.
Humble. That's one of the biggest.
That's
No,
pretty huge.
I know the biggest one.
What was the biggest one?
When Aviano called you mom.
Aw.
Thank you.
That wasn't a compliment. That's my most important job.
Still a compliment.
But
yeah.
yes, it was. Thank you.
See?
Boo.
He brought my son into it now.
Yeah.
Or whenever your dad said something nice about you. That's
Yeah, my dad
his,
puffed me
his,
up.
his,
The nice words came once in a while.
yeah.
He put me
but
through it.
his words were very weighted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when he said it, he meant it.
yep.
So I was watching this show. I didn't get 20 minutes. I still haven't seen the whole thing. I watched 20 minutes of it. I'm inspired out of my friggin' mind. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. She sold door-to-door hair product after so many people told her no.
Wow.
Which is, everybody tells me now. I heard 18 no's from banks before I started. So, well, look at me now. And she's selling door to door, and I'm like, oh shit, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna sell pasta door to door. It's what's gonna happen. It's the highest profit margin I have. I don't have any overhead of any of the restaurants.
And I
It's
saw on
on.
social media, people are eating that shit up. They were like, is it coming
Mm-hmm.
by my neighborhood today? Come here. They're requesting it. And it was like the ice cream man
Yep.
or woman coming down the block. And
Yep.
it
had
was
speakers installed. I had
very
Frank
impressive.
Sinatra playing.
Oh, wow.
The whole nine. And it was amazing to see because everybody would run to the end of their driveway as if they were just allowed to be out of their house for the first time.
Yeah.
And they would literally run up to the truck so excited. So not only were we still doing what we love, which is serving and hospitality, we were providing a smile for everybody,
you were-
something to look forward to. And then they got a pound of pasta and some sauce.
So it was dry pasta and then the sauce separate.
it was
and
our
they have
fresh
to cook
pasta.
it.
We don't dry our pasta.
No, meaning it wasn't cooked
Get
yet.
him.
Right.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. It was in a bag.
Yeah, it was in a bag ready
And
to
you
be
dump it
cooked,
in the
yeah.
salted water.
The salt. Yeah, exactly. And then you had
Full
sauce.
circle. Yeah.
So where I grew up, we called it gravy, but
Yeah.
that's,
well, that's where you grew up. Here they call it sauce.
sauce. Yeah. So
And we were killing it. We
Yeah.
were killing it. So we bought you can't buy trucks during the pandemic. We found a way to buy trucks. So I bought 2 more. I had three trucks on the road.
I bought a truck for a day. I'm just kidding.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you supported us. You helped us out. So
We can talk about that later since,
yeah, right.
no,
the community really came together.
yeah.
You being a big player in that and helping us to maintain and sustain. So we sold one noodle at a time and we stayed afloat. We got national press. We got recognition from it. We were fast on it. So
Fast, yeah.
we were ahead of the curve. Now all the other food trucks locally started joining the game. So now we have a hot truck that goes into your neighborhood with our liquor license attached to it. So we're serving people food and booze in their own neighborhood.
You're allowed to do that?
Wow.
Yep.
All
With
right.
an off-site liquor license.
Well, I would not be a customer of that. I don't drink.
Good.
I'm just kidding. So,
Keep your money. Put
but
it in a
no,
box.
the pasta.
Put it in
though.
the pasta.
No, but
So,
I was amazed at how quickly, obviously, you can talk about that, but when, I showed up at the church when they did the whole pasta truck,
Mm-hmm.
was
When
it
you
over like
hired
7?
us to
Wow,
feed the community.
Yeah. So that was early on in the pandemic,
Right.
and hey, this is when school's happening, and a lot of shit, like again, growing up as a poor kid, I know what it's like to go to bed hungry or wake
Yeah.
up hungry. So one of their main meals a day was lunch, and these kids weren't getting that, so it was a way to just give back to the community. And you had that great idea. I'm like, let's do it, and I'm not kidding you, like. It came together in a couple of days, and they literally pumped out over 700 families. They fed, and they just sat up there all day. And they're
You guys just posted up somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
at
the church right around the
what
corner
church?
here.
I forgot the name of the church.
Lutheran?
No,
No.
like Church of the.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's a
Oh,
church
the
right over
Nazarene? I
here,
don't know.
Church of the Nazarene or something. Anyway, and Jade is the pastor. That I remembered. So, any church that has Jade as the pastor, that's the name anyway. Good people. They let us post up there for free, and and whatever.
Yeah, it
and
was a good community initiative.
community initiative, and people were like loving the pasta. I mean, I really
Can't
think the
eat fresh pasta.
yeah, but I
I
think
don't think
the
I've
real
ever had
hit
fresh
was,
pasta.
Girl,
Oh man,
I'm
would've
serious.
brought
We're gonna
a
order.
bag.
We're gonna order from
I
it tomorrow.
so want to eat your food.
Tomorrow
It's so
we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna order it from tomorrow. I promise you. Okay. So we'll do DoorDash. You're unavailable on DoorDash, right? Grubhub.
Oh wait, we have to talk about this. Are they price gouging your customers or you? I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, not price gouging. They did give us a deal,
Yeah.
like for 2 free months of no fees, which is great.
Yeah.
But that whole platform, my hat's off to them. That's a shit show of
It's like Uber of delivery.
But they're supposed to be predatory to small businesses.
I mean,
like
they are if you look at their 30% that they're taking off the top.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. But my margins are good, so I can afford it.
Yeah.
Which one? One of them has like 60% of the market share in New York.
Uber
Grubhub,
Eats. or
Grubhub.
66% of the market share in New York.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's insane.
That is wild.
But what kills me is, as a restaurateur, it is hard as hell to tack any extra fees on my bill.
Yeah.
But you get it delivered to your door, and you're fine with paying a surcharge and premium rate.
Yeah.
Like I just got something delivered. We lived off of Grubhub, and I just got something delivered like $35, which would have costed me $15 if
Yeah.
I would
It's
have went.
extra. Yeah.
It's insane, and it's okay right now. So there's
Yeah.
opportunity to make a lot of money if you're that guy right
Yeah.
now. But I use them because people are programmed to order it now. It's automatic. Go to your
Instant
app for dinner.
gratification. It gets to you.
Microwave society.
Ew.
Yep.
TV dinners. Remember they used to call them that?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if you do.
I don't believe in
we do.
microwaves.
Good. I don't either.
You were
Good.
teething when that
We don't
happened,
have
yeah.
one on any of our lines.
You're a brilliant person.
You're like, I like your co-host.
Thanks.
She's sweet.
She was
Yeah.
sweet before she said that.
I
Thank
know.
you.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
know.
what about the supply chain? Isn't this all screwed up too?
Yes. So we became our own supply chain. We're locally sourced.
Amazing! You're doing everything right.
Sustainability, baby.
Oh my god.
And it's that whole hustle and flow in me. And it's hard out here.
Honestly,
for
no
us.
advice. You're doing everything right.
Hey,
So
thank you.
go and prosper.
So thank you. I'm trying. Yeah, you didn't even hear the
Go
best
forth
of it yet.
and
Tell me
multiply.
everything.
So that was the food truck, right?
Mhm.
The food truck can only get you so far. We had 3 neighborhoods we were hitting it. I mean, every neighborhood in York County we hit. We're on a route, and it wasn't enough. So enter Presto. Presto is our drive-through pasta concept. So what we
Ooh la la.
right? Nobody's doing that shit.
Mhm.
Nobody. There are several who have attempted it and they didn't accomplish it because they don't make the noodles.
Yes.
So we make the noodles. So based on going after the wholesale, we knew we could sustain now multiple concepts. So this is our 3rd location and we're ready to branch out and start developing the franchise for it.
Wow.
So watch out, Chipotle. I'm on the block.
Go ahead.
Bitch.
Yeah.
We're all bored of Chipotle. Chipotle gave people like salmonella 10 too many times.
Although I
Ten
think
too many
I think for lunch we ordered Qdoba, but whatever. But I mean, but there's a
Yeah,
place.
you gotta
Listen,
stop doing
there's a
that.
place for that. So when I first heard of your concept, I actually remember telling someone that it was a brilliant idea, and I think I said, "Wow, this idea has the opportunity to go global, much like a Qdoba, a Chipotle, a Moe's." Actually, what it really reminds me of, because it's kind of similar, is what's that pizza place? Mod
Sbarro.
Pizza.
Oh, Mod.
No, Mod.
Mod is
So what Mod is to
Yeah.
pizza and salads is what
I've
I
never
think
heard of it.
what? Basically, it's like you go there and it's
that is so
one
refreshing
price.
to hear.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it local? Is that a local?
No, it's nationwide.
I think Starbucks is behind it.
Fuck,
No,
Starbucks is
it?
the devil, dude.
It's in the details. Anyway, like this morning, I'm like, I'm going to Starbucks.
Like
She's like,
the
no.
CEO though.
Oh no, he's a
The
robot.
CEO.
No.
So anyway, my point is, when I saw what you were doing, I'm like, wow, there's really not an Italian place for real fresh pasta that's quick.
Right.
That because within 5 minutes you go down this assembly line is what it is, and you say, hey, I want a Mod pizza. I want the red sauce and the cheese and put some
Don't you do
fresh
this every time you
garlic.
order a pizza though?
Not like this. Yeah,
Mod's a little.
it's quicker, and
It's like a sub. So I'm not.
literally
yeah.
1 minute.
It's like the
cooked,
Subway
you know.
pizza. So
Yeah, it's
what
a
we
Subway
did was
pizza, yeah.
essentially do that for pasta. So you
Pasta,
come
yeah.
in, you pick a noodle, a veg, a protein, and a sauce, and it's sautéed under
No
5
veggies.
minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like fresh. And it's cooked. So
Yep.
so somehow the way they did their noodle and the water and blah, 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 it's a
Yep.
special proprietary salt
Yeah.
that cooks the
All of
noodle
that,
in
you
like
can't
3 minutes.
replicate it.
Yeah. Right?
Yep. So
Is it
it's
fast food
researching-
style or are we supposed to
Yeah.
eat there?
both.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a complete disruptor
Yes.
across the board.
I think it's going to be an excellent
and I
idea.
can't wait to shake shit up with it. It's going to be very quickly. I've
Do you
hired-
offer sit down too?
Yeah.
When the world lets you?
Yeah, so we'll have three
Yeah.
different ways of doing it. We'll have the stand that is in airports, malls,
Nice.
and military bases and colleges and stuff like
Like
that.
the
So
one in
it's-
the market and the one in
Yep.
Lidditz, right?
So the little kiosk stand will
Kiosk.
be
Okay.
one. And then we have a drive-through, which will be dine-in and carry-out and drive-through. And then we'll have the store with the door. So it's essentially like a Chipotle. You go in, you order, you sit down. So I have 3 different models.
Yeah.
Put that one close to campus.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh,
So
yeah, that would work good.
it's a model that's tried and true. Now we do high volume, and we need to put 400 people through the drive-through on Friday night.
This last Friday night you did? Wow.
That's insane. So what we're gonna do is maximize on the opportunity, and I hit up my real estate friends and said, whatever's coming out, I want to go in. So we're already have our finger on the pulse, and we plan on doing the tri-area of Lancaster, Harrisburg.
Are you going to stay out of malls because they're kind of dying?
No.
You're going to go into malls?
Yep, the CEO of Annie Ann's is also mentoring me on this.
Nice.
And they have one in the middle of Park City that does phenomenal numbers.
Well,
I'm
they're
going
pretty
right-
good at that, yeah.
I'm going right beside it. So
And they're in airports. Like, you could take their model.
Airports are great.
Go right next
People
to
will
them in
spend a lot of
airports
money
and
on
malls.
food in
Yeah.
airports.
$7.99. It's
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
$7.99 includes 3 veggies and your sauce, and then you add protein if you want it.
That's the same thing like the mod pizza. It's $7.99,
Mm-hmm.
$8, and whatever you want to put on your pizza
Yeah.
and salad, you just
Yep.
yeah, whatever.
Done.
Yeah.
So my brainchild during all of this was already in the works. So it looks like I just came out with this, but because of my crazy and what people thought I was doing too much of,
Yeah.
and what my threshold was for handling too much, can kiss my ass. Because
You won, man. You beat the game.
yeah, and I'm still in it. I'm still striving for it. I'm humbled and I'm gracious and I'm all of the things. I'm so proud of my team for sticking with me through this.
Yeah, they have a good leader.
Thank you. They were my reason. Because, you go after one accolade, you get it, and that's great. You go
Yeah.
after another one, you get it, that's great. You get your dream car, that's great. You get your dream house, that's great. It all starts to feel redundant unless you have your why. So I'm not
So safe.
doing anything for monetary value. It's for a legacy, and it's for not to leave to my son because I don't want him to grow up to be a shithead or a narcissistic asshole.
Oh my God. I feel like you're from where I'm from. Yes. Thank God.
I mean,
oh my God,
we
you're
got
so
enough of
bright
them.
and intelligent, and you have a soul. And
Thank
good
you.
Lord.
Thank you. So, yeah, no, I want him to know he comes with me to all my meetings.
Good.
He comes with me to all of my things. And he's like, Mommy, you have a lot of restaurants. And I said, and I still make time for you, don't I? Because it's possible. Like I said, I saw my family growing up in it, and all the sacrifice and all of the commitment and all of the my dad wanting to get away from that and hustled and tried to make quick money and knew that long money was where it's at, so you have the comfortability to be able to be at home with your family.
Yeah.
How did
Time's the ultimate luxury.
how did these big brands be able to go home at 5 o'clock and let the restaurant still run? Like, I never saw the CEO at Darden when I worked there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in a few times, and I walked up to him and introduced myself because that's just who I am. But aside from the fact,
Who's this crazy lady?
yeah, that's exactly. And I'm okay. I owned my crazy. I own my crazy, so you can't talk about my crazy, right? I could talk about it, and then you could just be like, "Yep, I knew her when."
Just did that in the previous episode.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
You
it's
have
about.
to,
You
yeah.
have to, or else people will try to tear you down. People will try to get you at your Achilles heel if you
You
don't own it
don't
first.
say. I have no clue
I don't know if you have
what
any
you're talking
experience in
about.
that.
No, never in my life has anyone ever come at me.
And
I'm a saint.
I don't even want to go there.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it all comes from your experiences, right? So you know that you have little eyes watching. I learned everything. I said it before. I learned everything what not to do through my father. I had a tough life with him.
Yeah.
And he did what he felt was right, and I learned from it. I was the one that sacrificed. So I don't want my child going through that.
Do that, yeah.
So, I work hard, I go hard, and it's my team, my son and my team. So my team, in my industry, like we said, I don't have a degree for it. A lot of people don't in my industry. We don't have degrees. We just know that we're really good at selling, and food and people are our product. So where do those people end up? I don't want this to be a transition job anymore. I don't want you to feel like you're just going to do this until you find a real job. I want this to be your real job. So how do I create that real job? What does that look like for you? And then when I get people who are co-signed into my vision, you're coming with me, baby. Call it the Sicilian in me, but if you got my back, I got yours. And you're coming with me when I get to the top because I will most definitely
And
get
she's
there.
loyal. Oh my word.
Yeah. And that's hard to find nowadays, like people that are actually loyal to you. And, you know, it's a
dying breed.
It absolutely is a dying breed. I think there's too many people out there that are not loyal to, the people they should be to. And it's unfortunate, but that's business. It's all about just the dollar, and some people don't see bigger picture.
Right.
But, sometimes it's not about just the bottom line.
Right.
It's about, hey, if you can help someone and give them a hand up.
Yep.
And, honestly, I know for a fact, like, you would like nothing more than to teach someone to be your replacement, run the shit for you, and you check out and go
Build something
on a
else.
beach somewhere or on a beach, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's really the goal of any good CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'll take that from you.
Yeah.
It's you definitely have to know your why, and if it's monetary value, you'll lose.
Never works. Yeah.
Never. I watched my father gamble and get it and lose it. He became a millionaire 12 times in his life.
Shut up.
City
Fucking
street rat,
fascinating.
isn't it? And he did it because he liked to grow and build, and then when he did it, he wouldn't be fulfilled anymore, and then he'd move on to the next one.
Wow.
But if he did it 12 times, that means he lost it 12 times, 11 times at least, right?
Yep.
So
12.
12. 12. But again, through those failures, I'm sure if your dad was here today, he would tell you
He'd be back on top.
he would own those failures and say, yes, and I failed. Maybe he would change stuff, maybe he regret some stuff, but at least I know he would have said, I learned from those things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was his school. And
Yeah.
that's where I learned. So I have like 50 years experience plus mine under my belt.
Oh,
So when
yeah.
I go do something, I make my mind up and I do it.
You were on the job training with him.
Correct.
Like you saw it and you were like, oh my
Yep.
goodness.
What
like,
to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Which was great. And it's all relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
He was a loved man because it was about relationships.
Yeah.
No matter how much money he had and came and gone with, it was all about relationships. And that's what means a lot to me. So the relationships I'm making in this community and what we're building together, to me, have been very lucrative in a sense of soul fulfilling. So again, my why. When I created Taste Test, I had an end game. So all of this, because I'm a chess player, all of this wraps up into my biggest move that I'll leave behind, because you got to leave a legacy, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to be my noodles. It'll
Yeah.
be part of it. But noodles have been done.
It won't be my noodles.
It won't be my noodles. But, becoming an entrepreneur today, now so more than ever, you don't become one, you are one. To get the opportunity to do what you do is what's hard. To get that opportunity of someone who believes in you, I was very fortunate to have someone who believed in me and gave me my start when I already got off the ground. I heard 19 no's from banks, 18 no's from people that I knew. And, it was hard to get the money to start up. And in my industry, hospitality, forget it. You're marked, like I said, 95% failure rate.
Yeah, nobody wants to invest
Nobody wants
in
to.
anything with food.
Nope.
They'll go eat food. right?
There's too many variables.
How many times were you told, hey, sorry, I'm not interested in investing, but when you do it, I'll come and have a meal there.
Yep.
I'll support you that way.
Every single person
Yeah,
I talk to.
exactly.
Which is great because you build those relationships.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time asking people too for investment. But I
So where'd you get the money?
So when I first started out, I put $50,000 together. I had a distant cousin who believed in me, and then I had a friend of the family who believed in me. We put money together, and I got
If you don't pay them
space.
back, they'll be really distant. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
joke.
So, we started with a restaurant that was already developed, and I just changed some paint and put some new stuff up.
Oh, you
Make it
got a
look like my
turnkey
own.
Two
restaurant.
Tonys,
Okay, got
right?
it.
Two
Two
Tonys,
Tonys,
yeah.
yep. And we were BYOB. I didn't have a liquor license.
Awesome.
So it was a struggle. I was
We love
going-
that. We need more of that.
I agree now. Now I
Now,
agree.
Did you
yeah.
charge like an uncorking fee?
Yes, I did.
Brilliant.
I
We're
did.
fine with that.
Yep.
We're
So-
fine with that.
It was a good way for me. I had this idea though. I wanted a wine bar. I had to have this wine bar. So I opened up BYOB for 2 years, and then Mr. Appel came in, sat down at one of my tables, and he's like, I've been watching you. I've been hearing about you. I think you're pretty great. But, and then he'd give me all the lists of things that I needed to correct. I'd be like, okay. He's like, now I want to see you work on these before. He was hard. He was very hard. And if you impressed him, then you know you were doing something right. He wasn't somebody that just gave out compliments.
Or money.
Yeah. It wasn't like, and I heard about him and we crossed paths a lot, but I never talked to him. So on the first night that we opened, he was there. And I was like, oh my God, Mr. Appel's here. Oh my God, Mr. Appel's here. And I went to his table and I was like, thank you so much for coming in. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to meet you. And I've been looking at this building.
He had his own little wine locker.
So he came in and he knew everything about my family. He told me, oh, thank you so much for opening in the city. I knew who your family was. We used to go to your pizza shop. Very humble guy. So,
but actually I remember one of my friends, we're going to name names, but had a daughter that worked there, and she came back and told us, she's like, Louis was at the two Tonys for, like, you know, he would eat dinner there all the time, and he was walking out, and she goes, I didn't know who he was, and I just opened the door, and some guy gave me like $50 walking out the door, and I'm like, who gives $50 for opening the door?
Louis.
And it was Louis, and I was like, oh, that's Louis. She's like, you would never know that he was who he was. So very, you know, inconspicuous. Humble. And I loved when I would just see him and his wife walking through the market on Saturday, and we would always, like, me and him would run into each other at the candy place. So if you ever been in his office, he would always have like dishes of like Fig Newtons or the Nonpareils, and I would like get them
and the little mini water bottles,
or the water bottles and the cookies and
the chocolate chip cookies,
really the Wilbur buds.
Yep.
Like one time I was eating them in a meeting. I was starving, and he's just like, just take the whole bag. He's like, you know, it was a Friday, so he's like, yeah, I got to get new stuff tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, he was a gracious guy, generous guy.
Is his wife still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys look in on her?
Yeah, I check in on her from time to time.
I think Chad
She's not
met
doing
with her
too well
recently.
right now.
Maybe
we'll have to check on her.
Yeah, she's not doing so hot. I just talked to her stepson not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's a good guy too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, he believed in us. 2 years later, we were going through this economic redevelopment liquor license thing, and this is really how I got my popularity in the city. We were on the front page of the paper like every other week. We changed a law with Kevin Schreiber. It was a huge challenge and feat for York City, but we changed the law for the entire state of Pennsylvania, which was awesome.
In what regards?
What law is this?
Yeah.
So it's the economic redevelopment liquor license, which you had to, a stipulation of receiving it is you had to sell 30% alcohol and 70% food. And in my industry, that doesn't happen. It's 50-50.
50. Oh, really?
So they lowered it, and then that was the big liquor license law that changed. It was kind of a double-edged sword. It changed the fact that grocery stores can now buy liquor licenses.
Oh.
So it kind of opened up a can of worms.
Can of worms, yeah.
So when we did get our liquor
Loophole,
license,
right?
we got
Wait, because groceries serve liquor, or they just sell
can
it?
sell it now,
Is ass backwards. It's
Oh wait, because we're in Pennsylvania, and you guys are supposed to buy it from like a
state store.
That's the weird part.
So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And liquor licenses now are $450,000 because of it.
Oh, there's a market for them, yeah.
In New York, they're like holding them hostage.
I know.
Well, so wait a
it's
minute.
crazy.
If I go to a Wegmans, you know how they have, you could sit down and eat at Wegmans?
Yeah.
For whatever. They can serve alcohol with that meal that you're sitting down in Wegmans?
I think they could, but I don't think they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a whole
Wow.
different liability.
Interesting. Yeah, see, I'm not too familiar with any of the
I know it all.
liquor and any, because I don't drink, so.
I'm a self-profound expert.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went
I
through
just
all
don't know
the
about that
hoop
stuff.
jumping, and Lou was just thoroughly impressed that I never gave up and the tenacity that we had. So.
And you're so young and pretty.
Thanks. I was very much younger then too.
There you go.
Still young now, yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, we made it happen. He invested in us for our liquor license, and from there I just made sure everything was taking off. And another reason
And also his, not to, because he's done this before, his name is Louis, not Lou.
I know, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Louis.
He would
called him Lou,
always,
though.
he would always correct people with that.
But I also grabbed his face and gave him kisses on the cheek when he'd walk into, and you don't touch him. I would always be like, wow.
Well, shake his hand, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm sure he didn't mind
drove
when you
him
did
nuts.
that, yeah.
And it was so cute. Oh my God, you'll appreciate this. After every meal, he got up and gave his wife a kiss.
Stop.
after
Yeah.
every meal.
Can
And
somebody take care of her? We need to make sure she's okay.
He would, yeah. We
Yeah,
do.
he loved.
I'd send her
he
flowers
really,
from time to time.
He
I need
really
to send
loved her.
flowers.
Yeah. So
It was,
he wrote about her all the time, and every 5 years when you're a Harvard grad, they would post like they would ask their alumni to write in to Harvard, and they would publish it in this book.
Like a diary entry?
Yeah, almost. So we actually wound up getting every written excerpt that he had basically said. So some of them
that's
were
cool.
Some I'll have to send it to you.
I wanna
Some of
see.
them were so comical, like some of them were funny, like funny, and but other ones were like he talked about his his divorce,
Yeah.
but then when he met his new wife, it was really endearing and give you a glimpse into
He was a
that man.
genuine guy, and you
Very
could tell.
genuine, yeah.
And it was a huge loss.
Yeah.
So I mention his name like that because he's a big being in our city. He's a big reason why everything.
He's helped everyone. Yeah,
Why it jolted as far as it did.
the true definition of a philanthropist.
Yeah,
And,
to have known him, and I'm so honored that I get to say that he ate at my restaurant 3 times a week and
oh yeah,
mentored me. He'd unfold his menu and scratch off the things that he loved and hated. And he'd let me know what to bring back, and he'd critique me, and he'd let me know when I didn't answer my phone, and he'd give me shit all the time. Like, he wasn't an easy man to please, but he put me through that, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And then he said, keep going. Just make sure you focus on your business. And he loved my spunk and my tenacity and my willingness to keep going. So, I mean, I keep going in New York City. I could bring my restaurant anywhere else and flip it into a very profitable business.
Do it.
But I believed in this city because somebody believed in me. And I stay here because there is a lot of opportunity. And if I don't keep going, nobody else will believe in it the way I do and the way he did and the way so many of us now do because of that man. And if you take all of those people out of there to go get that money, it won't happen anymore.
Mhm.
And this place will be very dormant and sad and empty again, as I found it 10 years ago. So I am now infected by the infectious bug of philanthropy and wanting to make a difference and change the city that was so good to my family 3 generations ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm in York City. That's why I love York City. That's why I believe in York City. That's why I'll always be here. My corporate office will always be right on the square as we build this national brand and bring money from other local economies into this economy. And hopefully from there, see the bigger vision that was implemented a while ago. So I have a bigger purpose in everything that I do. And from that is going to be what I leave behind. And that's raisedstake.com. So that is an equity crowdfunding platform. So my industry is the hardest to get money in.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's got to eat. How about I sell my taco stand to the community in which I serve, and you become my investors for a nominal fee. I don't have to do a vetted investor. I don't have to find, the guy that's worth millions of dollars. I don't have to, sell my soul and a high interest rate payback that's going to put my restaurant under anyway because it's variables. I could sell it to the community that I already feed, that you're
It's
already
almost
eating
like
at.
it's kind of like almost like socialism, kind of.
Capitalism. No, it's you like to throw them in there, don't you?
I'm just
See
saying.
how I'll react.
Yeah,
to 'em.
just kidding.
Just
Yeah.
gotta keep it moving. So, the equity crowdfunding platform that helps restaurants be built in their own communities by the community. So you have to eat. Why wouldn't you go eat at your own taco place that you essentially own?
Because
by giving an
Starbucks is
investment?
on every corner.
Right.
So
You don't have to.
I'm hypnotized.
But what if there was a little guy that wanted to stop making every city cookie cutter, and they wanted to put their own coffee shop on that corner?
You would expect the local community to help, right?
Right.
And-
Not to help. Everybody wants
But to
something out of
participate
it.
from this guy, exactly.
Right.
Why can't you buy
Everybody's-
coffee from him instead of Mr. Starbucks?
Right.
Well, in Brooklyn, do you have a favorite place you like to go to?
The Daily Press.
All right, but what if you could own, like, for $500, you could own part of the Daily Press and then say, hey,
That's fine, but what we need is community commitment and involvement to not buy at Starbucks anymore and to
Right.
go to the mom and pop shops.
but that's the point.
Because
though.
these
If-
guys are disproportionately disenfranchised, especially now after the plague.
Yep.
It's almost like a conspiracy to
But
put
again,
out. It
but
really
she's
is.
saying that, so
all
if
the
you
mom and
had-
pop establishments, and then everything's going towards global corporatocracy.
100%.
So like all the funding that was supposed to help the mom and pops
I know. Oh, who
went
you
to
telling?
Shake Shack.
Yep, and he gave that shit back though, didn't he?
What about
We
all
had a
all
shit
the
fit over it.
airlines and
Yeah,
that are
it's
boasting
ridiculous.
They
billions
said
of dollars
companies
of
with fewer
profit?
than 20 employees are most affected.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, and we are. We are on the verge of shutdown every minute. And we're supposed to be operating at 25% right now. I can't
That's
even
ridiculous.
pay my friggin' bills at 25%.
Meanwhile, some states are fully open.
Yep,
Like
I know.
fully open.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah. And
It's
then you
Shop
ever,
local, you guys.
are you ever on TikTok?
Jeff Bezos does
No.
not care about your family.
You're going through TikTok and there's certain areas where there's like college kids. There's just like in these big parties and
Sorry, you said you
ragers
don't
and-
watch TikTok?
Yeah.
No.
Is it because you're successful and intelligent?
I don't have time for that shit.
I know, right? But my point is like you watch and it's like nobody in certain states like just there. It's just
I know, I have friends
it's
all over the place.
mayhem.
They're like, Tony, how are you doing it? I'm doing it, but other like the big dogs in New York City shut down. They said, "Fuck this, we're out."
Yeah. So what what advice would you give to other restaurant owners that are dealing with this pandemic? So again, I remember when, let's say, the Left Bank was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Great restaurant, and good food. I mean, the food there is amazing. And they shut down. Some people criticized them saying, hey, too soon. Why'd you do that? It's flash in the pan. But at the end of the day, that might have even saved their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And other people stayed open. Like obviously there's no wrong or right answer. Like they
Right.
had to do what was best for them. But yet now they're reopening. But then they reopened based on the governor at least doing 50%. And then weeks later it went back to 25%.
Which is
Whereas at 50%,
crippling.
I think like for most businesses in the restaurant industry, they're probably breaking even
Yep.
and covering their bills because you need the turnover of tables.
Yep. And it's cash flow, right?
Yeah.
So we're buying product that we're selling.
But it's
that
turning
weekend.
tables, right?
Yeah. It's real estate. It's all of it.
Yeah.
The hospitality business is so many different games wrapped up in one. And it's a hustle. So what we sell on Friday and Saturday nights, prime time, helps us to sustain through the week. And then you're ordering your food. It comes on Tuesday and you're selling it. So you're a week ahead and a week behind, essentially.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So to survive off of 25 off the rip, and then people are terrified to come out. So it's 50% of the 25 that can come in there are coming to the restaurants because
Well,
the
yeah. And
fear.
how do you know what to order based on that? Because you have no historical
Forget
data.
it. Developing a menu right now is like a nightmare.
It's
a
like,
logistical nightmare. And then you said the supply chain. What products in? Like meat right now, there's 150% markup on it from my supplier. So supply chain's fucked. Where are you getting all this product? How are you getting it on time? Oh, Cisco's short. We don't use Cisco, but Cisco's short
whatever.
for whatever reason because they don't have enough drivers because there's not enough. There are a lot of people on for load.
Well, couldn't even go back even further to like
The farms.
the chicken processing.
they're not-
The
But
But
Yeah.
you
cow-
said
they're
you
not
are
like-
sourcing locally.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess how'd you get in touch with
as
your
mu-
smart?
So thank God we already have those relationships that we sustain through two Tonys. So we get local product as much as possible. But for now, the volume that we're doing, I have to go and find bigger purveyors. And I mean, to get the trucks up here with the product is a fucking nightmare because everybody's trying to get stuff delivered to their homes now.
It's like a
So
domino
Amazon's
effect.
taking over. Yeah, there's so
See?
many. Yeah.
They're
But that's why
spoiled-
you
but
need the
even,
local
like-
people too, because Amazon can't deliver at the same time that a local guy could.
Right.
But even like you got to go back to like
But everybody's so programmed for convenience now. Do you know how much
Yeah.
harder I have to work to unprogram people?
instant gratification.
I can't even
It's
have
insane.
conversations with people.
Like people don't give a shit anymore about the
No.
little guy. They just
No,
want
they
what they
don't.
want. And we're a
They
consuming
just want their
nation.
Starbucks.
Yep, we're a consuming nation, and I hope this makes people realize how
We're
much more now than
sad
ever.
and fat
Easy.
at home with your Starbucks, you guys.
Yep.
Choose your
So,
choices. You choose your choices.
and I mean that just makes everybody happy right now. They're the conglomerate on top, and everybody's got their day. They'll crash. Everybody will wake up, and everybody will want to go
no,
mom
they
and pa
won't.
again.
They
Yeah,
won't wake
will.
up, dude. They'll just
Well,
die.
Look what happened with
We'll
when
have to kill them off.
we might. know
She's
some
on, she's
people.
on the eat the rich type of thing. Yeah.
I am.
No, I dig it. I'm all about that life. It's the whole epitome of the crowdfunding platform
Yeah.
is to give back to the little guy, the underdog. That's my story 100%. And it's everybody's story. They'd like an opportunity to go up against corporate America and you can't. There's no way. You need hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We all need to participate in this.
Yep.
So we all need to
It's a
participate in
game
one another's
changer.
success.
It could start with restaurants because
Uh-huh.
everybody has to eat, and then it can go into gas stations,
Other
community
things.
owned. It can go into grocery stores,
Education
community-
system. Yeah.
everything.
Uh-huh.
The fucking jail system,
Yes.
everything. It can go into everything. And
Can you run for a city councilwoman?
no, that'll
See,
waste my
it
time.
doesn't pay enough.
That'll be a waste of time. There are very good people in the community already doing that job. I need to do something that can make a bigger splash with the crazy that I have in my brain.
All right.
So what, again, if you were, let's just say, someone wanting to start a business in this climate, obviously you've done it in a normal climate and you've done it in this pandemic, or if you're a current restaurant owner that had to shut down or had to severely reduce or just go to takeout only, what advice do you have for them to, how to reopen when the laws allow you to, and how do you, reinvent and try to make revenue so that you can support, the employees and your own life? Obviously the restaurant owner has bills to pay, and if his bills or her bills aren't being paid, then they go out of business.
Right. Yeah, it's a case by case situation. I feel for my fellow restaurateurs right now. For those who do wake up, turn the lights on, work their whole life building a career in what they do, and then turn the lights off at night, they're already struggling from day to day. They're already in the grind of being a small business owner. This 25% thing has to be devastating. And at the same time, I like to look at the bright side of things. They don't have to furlough or lay off people, and they don't have to worry about, how am I going to do it? Because they're used to working those hours and going in and making it happen.
Yeah.
There are people out there who still want to eat, need to eat, and are supporting.
Yeah.
Takeout has been huge. It's been the biggest driving factor to helping to sustain what we do. I would say cut your food costs in half by offering a menu that supports simple ingredients. This is the time to get away and stray from something that you're used to doing and what we're conditioned to be like, oh my God, but my guests love this, I can't change it.
Yeah.
Right now, this is the time to be able to test the waters and blame it on COVID. So you have to cut your costs. You can't do things as they were because you won't be able to make it. You have to get smarter. So what does that look like? You say, okay, it costs me this much money to make this plate. Well, if I make a different plate that costs half that, then I can just double my profits. So it's a numbers game because the hospitality business is a business. Of course, we're in the business of making people happy and making memories and all of that, which is the feels. But the small businesses who don't have the accountant on payroll, and there's a lot of them, and for the small businesses who don't have, the marketing team, and there's a lot of them. If you're doing all of that yourself, take this opportunity to reinvent yourself. Take yourself out of your habit and your patterns of opening up, running that menu, closing up shop, doing it the next day. The order comes in on Tuesday. You're used to that repetitious pattern that you're in. Shake it up. I know it sounds scary, but this is an opportunity to maybe fix some things that weren't working to make you more profitable. Maybe you don't need the 10 people on payroll. Maybe you can hire 3 that can do the jobs of those 10 people. So if you're putting the time and effort into rethinking your system, then you would have taken a window of opportunity to get better at what you do for when the time does come to start making those numbers again at 100%. You just capitalized on that opportunity by paying attention while things were slow. So yes, it's mortifying. It's devastating. It is the worst thing that could ever happen in the world of business right now for every industry across the board. Look what happened in 2008 with just the mortgages. This is every
talked about that.
single industry across the board. So the economy is going to feel this for years to come. 5 years minimum. It takes 2 years tax returns to be able to buy a house. What are people who just lost their job and on unemployment 2 years from now going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, pandemic. So now the banking system and the mortgage system is going to have to totally reinvent itself.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one as a small business owner in a restaurant. Everybody's going to be doing it. So offer yourself some grace, give yourself some patience, learn how to reinvent yourself, and do that because you're going to come out better because of it. Don't sit down and sleep this off. Don't get depressed and get in the funk. Read a book. Figure out how somebody else did it.
Make love. No, anyway.
No, don't do that. We'll have too many babies.
No, we need more babies.
No, we don't.
Look at the Rockefellers. They had 20 kids.
Babies
Think
eat.
about it.
Oh, Jesus.
Babies
Think
eat.
about it.
20 kids.
So
Have you seen the grocery store like offering that some restaurants are doing?
I did that.
You did? How
I
did
was
that
one
work
of the
out?
First ones in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
she did that.
We delivered it.
She delivered food, groceries,
Delivered
and
groceries. We
Yeah.
were selling eggs and chicken breasts
Chicken,
and
milk,
sausage
yeah.
and milk. Whatever. I'm saying whatever it takes. When people
Yeah.
ask me what I do, it's whatever the fuck it takes. I'm
I
not.
so admire you.
Thank you.
yeah, there
I'm
were
not too
there
above
were
it.
there were certain
Toilet
things
paper.
that
We were
people,
selling damn toilet paper.
when toilet paper and sanitizer was
Yep.
like low,
We did it.
she leveraged her suppliers and basically put out to the community like, hey, whatever you need, let me know. I'll get it through my suppliers. Her suppliers got it and they delivered it.
Yep.
But so obviously there was the federal government, the PPP loan.
Yep.
And hey, some restaurants got it, some didn't.
We got it.
Obviously, well,
Sorry.
I'm just
Are you
in general.
leading
What? Yeah, leading this
No,
question.
I want to talk about that. For
Yeah,
a
we're
second.
Okay.
going to talk about that. But to me, and then, obviously certain people got like, I don't know, $1,200 or whatever the fuck it was that they got out for their little paycheck to people.
Mm-hmm.
But is there any other additional help that you like? I don't pay attention to that just because I'm not in that industry.
Right.
So is there any other? I know the York County has these up to $35,000, kind of misleading because there's revenue requirements like, hey, you have to make $1 million a year, but less than $3 million, and you get $35,000 grant, and then it there's a
down
ladder
from there.
effect down there. So are there any federal or other state or local programs that you can tell all the listeners about that may be coming out soon that can help the restaurant industry? Because listen, United Airlines got bailed out, Delta Airlines got bailed out, banks like JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo, all these big corporations that have boasted for billions and billions of dollars of profit that had not a pot to piss in when it was time to take care of their employees. Instead, they did layoffs. And the reason is because they had those big stock buyback programs.
Right.
So whereas like, hey, the White Rose Group, the Left Bank Group, the, O&E Hospitality, you didn't have billions of dollars in record profits to do stock buybacks for anybody or
Right.
anything. So, what's going on and what programs, or if there are any, if not, how do, we make it happen so that, the people that are feeding us
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of us. And honestly, in the local economies, you need a very vibrant and solid restaurant
Oh yeah.
scene.
Oh yeah.
You can't be the only restaurant alive.
Nope.
You need
Several.
Left Banks next
Yep.
to you and the Rockfishes and
Absolutely.
the White Rose Group, because that
Handsome Cap. Yep. All of them.
handsome.
So
that
what did you
brings
do
it-
right to qualify for the PPP?
So I'm one of those who has a bookkeeper on payroll and had all of the paperwork and documentation ready to go when it was
So you
applied for.
filed early on? Is that
Yeah,
what you think
I was
helped you?
one of the-
Okay.
Yep.
Literally, if you didn't file right away, like I heard,
Screwed.
The money was gone.
2 hours after they
So
opened it, the
stupid.
website crashed, and they
Yeah,
were like,
it
"We're
was
done."
insane.
Yeah.
Overpopulated. Yeah, it was crazy. So the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program, was great in theory.
You down with PPP? Yeah,
you know me.
Yeah.
It was great in theory, but somebody from behind a desk did some kind of calculation that came up with some kind of answer to all of our problems as restaurant owners. That money's been spent. You got to pay a lot of people to do what you do.
I
And
think
3
that was
months. It's a
basis-
3-month.
Yeah, but I
average.
think it was a basis of only they thinking the pandemic was, again, remember, flatten the curve.
Right.
Hey, we're only going to be gone for a month.
Right.
And that was supposed to help, but
Right.
it's
They don't care
been
about us.
longer
You
than
guys,
a
they
month.
throw peanuts at us and say, go to hell.
They throw us a bone and say, here you go.
We
do
want
something.
Starbucks to win. We want you to lose. Okay? So
You're really
good
on
luck.
this Starbucks thing.
It's what it represents. It has nothing to do with Starbucks.
Okay.
So
I
pick
agree.
Walmart. Pick whatever, stop
Mine's
giving them your
Walmart.
money.
Mine's Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's the devil.
Yeah.
Sam Walton
Tell
is-
me how one of them motherfucking employees doesn't have COVID, that they have to shut down and quarantine their entire staff and clean all of their shelves.
Sam-
But me, 2 Tonys, if I have anybody that was around COVID and anybody hears about it, I got to shut down for 2 weeks, quarantine and fucking sanitize my place and lose all my revenue.
It's
of
a
the 25
conspiracy!
No shit. I'm so
Dude.
tired of it.
Sam Walton
I'm so
and his
tired
little
of it.
red pickup
I'm sick
truck.
of pointing and being like, am I the only person who thinks this is weird?
Oh, God. I can't
Like, shut up
stand
and put
it.
your mask on and stand in your line and don't ask questions.
That's what I'm going to drink.
Are you
my
getting
water
any
and
answers from
breathe.
the political people?
So yeah,
I mean, the
so
governor's
there
from
are,
York.
So your question went to
Yeah.
what is being done for restaurants and the relief. So the National Restaurant Association has all kinds of legislation that's getting ready to go to Senate. And what that is like $4 billion worth of relief for small guys to be able to get our lost revenue.
That's not that $4 billion will go like
2 seconds.
If it gets approved.
Right, if it gets approved.
because that PPP program was part of that whole CARES Act, which was I think $2 trillion, and $1 trillion
and
went
it's gone.
in 2 hours.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane. Like, and where the monopoly money that they're printing, first of all,
yeah.
and the fact that it's such ignorance. It's ignorance to think that somebody could stroke a check and solve the world's problems, and where do we fix it from there? So I'm not relying on the government to help my ass, which is why I'm being as creative in survival mode that I am, because I know that there's not a pot at the end of this rainbow. Like, it's not, the skies aren't going to clear up, and
No, they're not
and
going to help you
Skittles
get
are
back to
gonna fall
business. They're
from
not
the
going to
sky.
say,
How many
it's
business?
over now. It's over now. Go back to life. No, that will never happen. It's going to
No.
be more control.
How many other co-business owners that you know, friends, or just like associates, professionals that are in your thing that that are basically contemplating or about to file bankruptcy because of this?
Oh yeah,
'Cause,
sure.
I mean,
Nobody's being.
Do they have any choice?
No.
You know what I mean?
We're
Like
being
they have
forced.
to protect themselves,
Yeah,
right?
we're being forced. It's sick. It's sickening. It pisses me off. It's a bunch of bullshit, and it's so political. I'm terrified to say anything because I have to serve these people, so I can't piss anybody off. Like the mask wearers,
Well, like Michael
come
Jordan
downtown.
said, Republicans wear sneakers.
and the non-mask wearers don't come downtown because they're scared to get shot.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in the middle of who the fuck do I serve? And at the same time, I have all these opinions and I have all of the points of view, and I can't share them because I'm in that business. I'm in the business that I literally cannot piss anybody off with my way of thinking, or else I will lose revenue, literally. And it's a very sensitive topic now, but my livelihood and my life's work is on the line. And it may only look like a paycheck to you while you work for somebody else and get unemployment checks or whatever your situation is. But this is America, and my family came here to make a
But
way
that's
for
your
themselves.
life work, yeah.
And, as immigrants as they were, and they busted their ass to make a name and leave behind for their kids and their grandkids. And I'll be damned if something takes that from me.
Yeah.
Like, over my dead fucking body. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And then if you're going to sign me a check, I'm going to take it because you shut me down.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to wait for you to fix it for me.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they're creating, meaning government.
And they're creating more
yeah.
obstacles.
They're
So even if you
creating-
comply,
They're
there's a new
creating
one.
that
There's a
divide.
new one. There's a new
And
one
they're
that you're in
creating
violation
that
of.
brain, that way of thinking that says, I can't do anything until my government saves me.
Yes. Stay home. It's so scary out
I
there.
can't do anything
Put
until
your mask
the
on
government
and hide
says
under your
so.
bed.
That's
yes.
called communism.
No shit. Right? And it's
So,
scary.
but here's the thing, though. For me personally,
They're all
I don't-
brainwashed. You are too. You guys are watching television. You're all
But
brainwashed.
at the
I'm not
same
brainwashed.
time,
Believe me, I'm not.
Is radiation real?
Huh?
Is radiation real?
Not your app. Anyway, she got it.
He doesn't understand how Wi-Fi works, and he's in the fiber optics. This is crazy.
No, I understand it a lot better than most. She thinks she has an app that actually tests EMF
Okay,
signals.
radiation. Do you think radiation is good for the
Do you
human
think
body?
your phone can
Yes
test
or no,
radiation?
sir?
No.
You just answer. Are you kidding me?
Your phone does not have the technology.
Relax. Relax.
this one out.
Anyway,
Relax.
but anyway, we're not getting on that. That'll be another one. Like cuckoo. Anyway,
See? Watch your news
guys
and
are
put your
funny.
mask on, honey.
So at the same,
What do you
but at
have,
the same time,
Yes,
iPhone,
hold on. Relax.
iPhone 12
Relax,
I have
relax,
to-
relax.
with a Geiger counter on it.
Relax. Go ahead.
Can I get the
at
Geiger
the same
counter
time
model?
with the political shit that comes behind
Yes.
it. Like, I know, so I've also fed the governor.
Mhm.
And I've sat down with the governor when he was governor-elect and
You
talked,
gave him some brajol.
and talked about how much of a struggle it was to get my liquor license, and how much of a huge advocate for small business he was, and how much he helped change that law.
Yeah.
So I know he's big advocate for small business, and I couldn't even possibly imagine what it's like to be in his shoes, to have to save people's lives based on what information he's being told, right? And then control an entire population to abide by these rules, and then wake up every day after being kicked in the gut and name called and hated on. Like, we all don't know what anybody else is going through. Me as a restaurant owner, him as a governor, you as a business owner, you as a businesswoman. Like, we don't know what it's like to walk in each other's shoes, which makes the climate so
Yeah.
uncomfortable to be in right now.
Yeah.
And all I can do is just continue to serve the people to calm them down. That's
Same
all
thing
I
he's
can
doing
do.
though too. So you feed the people who come and like frequent your store. He's got to count on the voters. You know,
Right.
he's
Well,
got
I
to
mean,
do whatever
I
they're
wouldn't-
going to
Right.
make them happy with him.
I wouldn't
Right.
want
So
to be in his shoes.
I wouldn't either. Like
because
if you say councilman, I couldn't do it. It's way too much responsibility to.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a huge responsibility to make sure your meatballs aren't cold, and
Yeah.
I'll get fucking chastised if they are. But at the same time, like I couldn't do his job or anybody else in
No,
politics
I
right
wouldn't-
now.
I wouldn't, because here's the thing though. One, yeah, he's in a position that only 49 other governors are in, but he's in the position that only, as far as a PA governor in that climate is in.
Right.
But I mean, I met him a few times. He's been in this building for different events. He's complimented my beard and Chad's beard. It's a nice beard. Okay. But, nice guy. I know he's definitely genuinely a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a good guy, but do I believe in all his policies? No, but you don't have to. And you know what? I think he appreciates that people
Is he red or
disagree with
blue?
him. He's Democrat. Yeah.
Okay.
But I also think that, he is,
Trying.
listening
Yeah.
to the experts, and if they're saying, like, he has a health expert, he listens to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Some people don't.
And that's the point. Like,
But the thing
It's-
about this, if he went against the health expert and the health people and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this," and people died, I think he would care about that.
People would admire him.
But yeah,
Talk about disruptor.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
No, but again, like, so in Pennsylvania, there's really only two areas that are Democratic, and that's really like the Philadelphia area, which you could say is also encompassing Harrisburg and York, kind of, and the Pittsburgh area. Other than that, the whole
Pittsburgh
state.
isn't red?
No.
Or kind of purple maybe?
Pittsburgh, the city, is Democratic. Yeah, but
All
the,
of that.
but
I'm so sick.
everywhere in
of all of it.
between.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
me too, man.
everywhere
Give a
everywhere
shit
in
what party
between
you're
is.
Dude,
from.
none of it
Republican.
represents me. It's
Yeah.
all just trying to make us hate each
Yeah.
other.
It is.
It is.
And
That's true.
I love you guys both despite your beliefs.
Yeah.
I
I
like
think-
you guys both, and
I
I would love you
think-
more if I believed in your beliefs.
Okay, touche. Touche.
I didn't tell you my belief. I'm just telling.
I don't
It's
care.
all
I'm
over you.
saying
It's
it's
how you
all
live
good.
your life.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Right.
telling you,
So-
I could give a shit about you. I don't
but-
want to hear any more
yeah.
goddamn beliefs.
No.
I don't want to hear any more
Well,
opinions.
I don't personally
I'm not here
mind.
for it.
So here's the thing, though.
I second that.
If I walk into your restaurant, I'm wearing shoes, I'm wearing socks, I'm wearing pants, I'm wearing underwear, I'm wearing a shirt,
In a mask.
you know, and I don't care. Like, I don't mind wearing a mask. I really don't.
I do.
I don't care.
I hate it.
I
Like,
hate it.
I
I
get
saved
it.
a lot of money on lipstick though.
Yeah,
there you go.
I guess.
There you go. Yeah. You only need to do this part of your makeup.
to do your eyes.
It's fucking
You're good.
slavery,
So,
dude.
but here's
I
the thing, though.
can't.
But here's the thing, though. So where I would get burned up most, like, and you've seen this happen one time in Detroit, like, if I'm wearing a hat, like, I should be able to wear a hat in your restaurant. We're in Detroit. I'm like, we're in Detroit.
Oh, they made him take the hat off.
They're
for
like, take
dinner.
your hat off.
My mom always says that to my brother. It's
And I'm like-
bad manners.
And I'm just like, why? Like,
I'm bald, so
you know, like this. I'm doing
Let
you
me
a
have
favor.
my hat.
Like, I'm ugly. I'm doing you a favor. Like, you want me covered up.
Right.
And they're like, no, you got to take off your hat. And I'm like,
I mean, that's a.
it's weird.
It's
It's
a
almost like
thing.
no,
put
but
a bra
here's my
on.
point.
It's
I
like,
can go
what?
to some of the best restaurants.
tell me
I can go to some of the best restaurants in New York City, LA, and they don't care what you're wearing.
Right.
But yet this place in like
Hey, to each his
Detroit,
own.
like 8 Mile, like they're like, take your hat off. I'm like, make me.
They
Yeah.
did. They did
They
make him.
did make me. Like up there, like the bouncers dangling me, like slacking me over. But anyway, yeah, like obviously this podcast is meant to, to be lighthearted, but we also want to tackle hard topics,
yeah, 'cause
and
we're in
this
the
is
middle of
one
it.
of them because
Yeah.
hey, I like to eat. I support the restaurants downtown.
Local
you know,
ones.
I
Boop, boop.
like every restaurant owner that I go to in the restaurants. They're all good people,
Mm-hmm.
and their employees are great people, and the servers, the chefs. I mean, and honestly, I think York. I mean, the chefs that are in York and the kitchen workers. I mean, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, I would say, I tell people, like, hey, some of the restaurants in York, you could put them anywhere in the world and they could hold their own
Yep.
as far as the quality of the food.
Yep.
I've said that from day one in any place. And,
Yep.
and
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a big
I
compliment.
so want to try your sauce.
You have to.
How'd you make
It's so
it? How'd
good.
you come up with it? Why is it
I
so
don't
good?
know. I
Well, you
didn't
ever
come
see
up with it.
Lucy?
I have a
You ever
chef.
see Lucille Ball? Like she's in there,
right.
like you're making the wine.
That's
you know, her-
wine, yeah.
Nope, not me. That's not
With your
me.
feet?
No,
Her and Ethel.
I don't cook.
Yeah.
Remember?
Okay.
No, I have amazing chefs.
But you just
But you
know it tastes good.
Jump
Okay.
around the wine vat,
Yeah.
crushing the grapes. which
Have you had
Yeah.
her sauce?
Yeah.
And
It's so good. So we cook down. We get pomodoro tomatoes from Italy.
okay.
We stew them down. So 7-hour process of making our
Yeah.
sauce, and we make it in huge quantities.
Big quantities.
And we go through it really quickly. So it stays true to scratch. So when you come through any of my restaurants, you're not going to get that.
So it's not ragu.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Do you sell it in groceries?
We are getting there.
Yeah.
We have to get USDA approved, we're 2 steps away from that. Pandemic.
Who do you have to
stopped
pay
it.
off
This
for
is
that?
how it should be like
Pandemic
this. It said,
stopped it.
listen, this person ate
Yeah.
it. They didn't die. It should be approved.
That's it. That's how
Yeah.
it used to be.
No, are you
Now
kidding me?
need-
If you're not giving money to Bill Gates, she's never going to
you
get
have
approved.
to have
Now Bill Gates
preservatives
is
in
involved.
it.
Read a book. She's right.
Do you
Good
got
Lord.
do you got a problem with every corporation that started in the
Key Bono.
Northwest?
Who's profiting from this? Bill Gates. Who pays Dr. Fauci? Bill Gates gave him $3 million last year. Why is that? It's so weird. He just
We
says
need
whatever I want
Dylan
him to
needs
say.
to get on this. He's really
If you-
thorough.
Okay.
He needs to research Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, the
This guy.
Grand Central Railroad. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know.
So I mean, make the sauce, stir the noodles, and go on about your business.
All right. Recipe for life.
That's all we can.
Uh-huh.
That's all we can do. It's find money wherever the government's giving it out. Pay your employees and keep it moving. Because if I have to talk about one more political fucking debate,
Yeah, I don't like that.
or
yeah.
I scroll down, I stop looking at Facebook, and it sucks because my business operates on Facebook.
You have to, yeah.
I can't stand the shit that's
No,
Social
don't look,
media.
dude. It's fucking mind control.
My
Yeah.
God, I
Don't
can't
look.
stand it. So it's challenging everywhere. You just
You're
gotta
lucky you
keep-
still have a mind of your own. It's a matter of time before that's gone. Don't look
No,
at Facebook
it's-
too often.
Fuck you. That
So
ain't
how do you?
happening.
but-
It will happen. It
No,
will.
my mind's not going
They'll
anywhere.
fucking brainwash you. Close your eyes.
But how do you deal
You're
with
right.
like even
You're
like if you see something that's posted, obviously, not so much in the paper, but maybe like a Yelp or Facebook, where if somebody came in and wrote something negative about your industry or your restaurants or something, like how do you deal with that negativity as a business owner and as somebody that's so caring and passionate about what they do and that you give so much? Because again, I know an owner of another, the bigger restaurants, and man, the one guy, like anytime it's like, wow, this
Tells
is
him what's up. I love
oh
him
my
for it.
God,
I love him for it. I'm so envious.
but he
He
is-
comments on the negative
oh,
reviews.
he lets him know.
he is so passionate about
Well, it's our art form.
But does he
That's
sound
like-
intelligent or does
yeah.
he sound catty?
very intelligent.
Okay.
No, he
very
does it.
intelligent.
He does it great. He does it great.
Basically, he's able to give you the big middle finger,
Yeah.
and then you look at it and like, wow, he just dressed me down in a
Nice way.
polite way,
Yep.
but told me what's up.
Yep.
Like they're not going to tolerate
Yeah.
you disrespecting their staff or doing that.
Yeah.
So, but how do you deal with that,
Take
like
a different
personally?
approach. So I explain it a few ways because it's a real life thing. Everybody's the biggest food critic, and when you're spending your hard-earned money, I take that seriously. So if and we're not going to get it right every time. We're not robotic. Everything's made differently, and as much consistency as we try to get in our flagship restaurants, it's not going to happen because it's chef driven.
Yeah.
So one chef may have made a plate different than the next time you come in, and I have to explain that. So, and that's just at the flagship. I'm going to talk about Two Toni specifically because it's chef driven. Presto, you go through, it's going to be the same experience every time you go. So when you get a bad review, it's almost like I'm the restaurateur. So it's almost like you go into an artist's, laboratory. They're in their room, they're in their space, and they have these paintbrushes and they have these colors. And they take these certain paintbrushes to go with these certain colors on this canvas, and they're making it for someone. And someone walks in and goes, I don't like those brush strokes and I hate those colors. You're going to break the spirit of the artist because they put their all into what they did for you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to think that you would do at least.
It's the same. Well, it's the same thing in the restaurant industry. Like we take time to know our grower, to cultivate the product, to develop the menu, to create the menu, to serve the menu, to teach our servers how to serve that menu to the public who doesn't really know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're educating everybody. We're getting everybody's cosign on it. And then that moment comes where you get that instant gratification as a restaurateur are you going to like it or not after the first bite? Do they smile or do they hate it?
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on that moment. And if you're doing a lot of covers every night, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Moment to moment. And when you fail, because you will, you fix it. So just as passionate as I am about giving my guys the platform and the stage to be able to perform what they do is just as much as a passion of mine to know that the guest enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
So afterwards, I have a team who looks at every single Facebook, Yelp, Instagram, everything. And they let me know the bad ones so I can help respond. So my response is always humbled. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, kill them with kindness.
Tell me what happened. So I give them an opportunity to get it off their chest. What happened? Why were you so disappointed? Because you're coming, you're spending $65 a person at my restaurant. That's not easy money to a lot of people.
Yeah, and you put so much into the back end. You don't want to abandon it on the consumer kind of
Correct.
relationship right there.
Correct. And you can't. You really can't if you want to sustain. So I'm 6 years into it now, and it's because I'm in York. I make squid ink pasta. People don't like squid ink pasta in York. I need every single person who tries the squid ink pasta and hates it to try something else and like it instead. Because I'm not going to stop taking risks, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop making profits. So I have to take that extra step to teach my guests what else I do. And that is customer service. So you can kick me in my teeth. It's fine. I understand. I'm here to listen. Now let me fix it.
I just want chicken parm.
No.
So does Chad Taylor.
Nope.
I think you're so
No.
great because you are a woman too, though.
She won't do it.
I won't do it.
You have like compassion and you have like business intelligence.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's like makes you very well rounded.
I'm an anomaly.
You really
In this-
are.
I am. I own that.
You're only
In-
the 2%.
In this industry, I'm an anomaly because
Very well. Well, and you're female.
Yep.
That, yeah.
Nurturing is in my.
Yeah.
It's just something that I naturally
What's
do.
your birthday sign?
That's your Italian side.
Taurus.
I'm a Leo. Leos and Tauruses are best friends, dude.
Oh my
I love Tauruses.
See, and I love Leos. My boyfriend's a Leo.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's just, I mean, I take a lot of passion in it. You could tell. I like to think that you can tell, and I want to always come across genuine.
And I knew you'd be a good guest just because your personality, and I know you'd be open to talk, and you have your arms wrapped around your business and the people. So I knew you would have an opinion and one, expertise about the industry, what's going on in the industry, because I think, again, goes back to one of my earliest episodes. We had a guy on Busy, and he said, listen, in anything, in any business, you just have to ask the tough questions. You have to sit down, you have to communicate, and this goes for everything. So, I mean, thanks you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and then,
You guys are fun.
obviously,
Had a good time.
we're going to order from your place tomorrow.
You better.
So
Can I call you every time he buys Starbucks in my company, please? I just want to
Listen.
tally up.
I love it. We have Lavazza. When Aviano's opens, we have Lavazza.
There you go,
All
Lavazza, yeah.
right.
So,
Real
I do
coffee.
go to the local Green Bean. I love that place.
Yeah. We have
Yeah,
so many great locals. Don't
that's
we?
I've been looking them up. I really
Yeah,
have.
but
What else is
unfortunately-
there?
Prince Street Cafe.
Prince Street. That's the one I
Yeah.
saw.
Yep.
How is
Yeah,
it?
but I like-
Awesome.
Awesome?
Yep.
Can we get coffee
Molly's.
there,
Yeah,
please?
but Green Bean is like more
they-
smaller, local.
Prince Street.
And they brew. They do their own. They roast their own beans.
They roast their own
Oh,
beans
wow.
in the
Yeah.
basement.
Wow,
You
I gotta give me
smell
some
it.
beans.
They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
Who
A
runs
friend
it, too.
owns it.
Yeah,
His,
they're
him and his
awesome.
wife. They just lost their dog. I feel bad about.
Dog?
Yeah. They're
Did you say
puppy.
dog?
Yeah, Penny Lane died.
Did
Rest
she?
in peace.
Another one.
Yeah, Penny Lane just died. Yeah.
Oh my
This
god.
is a
it's
public
so
service
Yeah.
announcement that the whole world has gone
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh my god.
She was an
So,
amazing dog. Like
yeah.
they're
When's
they're
the
great
funeral?
dog owners. I don't know.
Yeah, so
you know,
sad. Oh my
so
god.
Yeah.
So I think it's closed because they had to get out of Dodge to mourn.
Jeez, they've been through it with their puppies. I feel bad for them. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
I think you guys are both mental, so.
Well, I love dogs. I got 4 dogs of my own.
I got.
Well, I have 0 dogs. My kids have dogs.
I like to think that I am both sides of
The fence.
dramatic.
Oh.
So everything that I do, I'm like complete opposites in because my mother was like Miss Italian Princess and my dad was like street boy.
Yeah.
So it resonates in my life. So I have Dobermans, I have 2 Dobermans, and then a Maltese. So I go like from
The
one extreme to
duality
the
of
Yeah,
women and
that's
men.
me.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Well, thank you for coming on. Any last parting words before we
Thanks
let
for
you get back
having
to
me.
your?
What's on the menu this week?
Actually, you know what we just put on there is a burrata with grilled peach.
Where?
At Two Tony's.
2 Tonys? Nice.
So good. We're doing street dining, so the city closed down the street
Again? Oh, they did that again?
Friday and Saturday nights through
I
end
thought
of
they
September.
stopped that.
Amazing.
Through the
Oh,
end of
they
September.
reopened it?
Yep.
That's smart.
We'll see you
Yeah.
on Friday.
Come
Shabbat
down
shalom.
and eat. Awesome.
Okay, great.
Love it. Love it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Be good, everyone.